I'm joined now by the former Press Secretary to Queen Elizabeth II, Ailsa Anderson. Thank you for joining me today in the studio. What was your reaction to the news?
Oh, my golly, I can't think of anyone who would not have been incredibly moved by that. I mean, she showed her vulnerability. It was genuine, it was honest, it was heartfelt. Honestly, it genuinely brought me to tears. It really was. It was amazing.
I mean, I was so shocked because obviously we knew she had been very unwell. We knew she had had the serious surgery. But to find out two senior members of the royal family have cancer and are going through treatment at the same time, I mean, obviously we consider them to be a family firm, but they're also a family at the end of the day. Your heart goes out particularly to the Prince of Wales, his father and his wife going through this.
Absolutely. But, you know, 1 in 2 people in the UK get diagnosed with cancer. There are 3 million people living with it. And I think those people and everyone actually can resonate with her message. You know, they are members of the royal family, but cancer's a great leveller.
Yes.
And you can be a prince or a pauper, and it doesn't discriminate.
Also, you can relate to them particularly and relate to her in talking about having to tell the children.
I know.
As a mum.
I know. Well, you've got young children, I've got young children. And actually to break it to them, and they're young, I think the timing was very, very good. You know, they broadcasted it the day that the children were breaking up for their Easter holidays, so they're not going to be questioned at school. So they're going to be afforded, God willing, a bit of sort of peace and privacy while they process this information. And I'm sure they've got lots and lots of questions to ask their parents.
Of course. And actually that timing, I mean, they said that they've held back. Obviously, she seems to have found out that it was cancer after the operation. We think that's the reason why Prince William pulled out of the memorial service to King Constantine of Greece at the last minute. He cited personal reasons. We now know, obviously, that they got this devastating news. Then there's a bit of a gap while they gather their thoughts. She says in the message, you know, we needed time to process such shocking news, but also to tell the children. It's difficult for the palace, though, to manage this situation where the void ended up being filled by conspiracy theorists and trolls online, just with your PR hat on, because things have changed a bit since you were in the royal household. This is almost impossible to manage, isn't it?
It is, very much so. And I do think in this age of social media, you're always going to have those conspiracy theorists, and you know, you can do everything you can, but you'll still have that hopefully small minority who won't believe anything. And you know, I'm sure, like you know, I've read some awful things on social media about her, about why she hasn't been seen in public. And you know, it's bad enough having to cope with, you know, a major operation and then find out that you've actually got cancer and you're going to be treated for cancer. But to have this background noise of these, you know, vile trolls on social media making up all sorts of ridiculous stories about you, which your friends are reading, your family are reading, I mean, it just piles on the pressure for you.
I mean, the response to that was obviously the Mothering Day photograph. And, I mean, it was a beautiful photograph. There's then a controversy over whether it was edited or not. The palace clearly decided to put that image out to try and silence some of the critics who were constantly asking, where's Kate? People like you and me were saying, we know where she is. She's recovering from major surgery at home in Windsor. But does the palace have to be careful here not to be too reactive to people who are basically just causing trouble online?
Yes, absolutely. Sometimes you've just got to hold your nerve. Because if you sort of crack open that door, then people want it to be pushed right wide open. So, and you've set a precedent. So sometimes it is, you know, hold your nerve, keep strong, keep calm and carry on, as the Queen would say.
Well, never complain, never explain. Sometimes it's better just to say nothing and keep a sort of stiff upper lip.
But it's hard because it's relentless. You know, that public, you know, scrutiny is absolutely relentless. So it is very hard to, you know, say nothing.
Well, I think the media has to take some responsibility as well, because, I mean, I've taken a bit of stick over the weekend. People saying, oh, you know, you're saying leave her alone, but the media has been part of the feeding frenzy. I would say that, of course, there's a legitimate right for newspapers to report actual news events, but we should be careful not to be stoking some of the stuff online by writing about it. You know, you often see articles, oh, somebody said on X, somebody said on Facebook. Well, who cares? These people aren't experts.
I know, absolutely. But of course, with big major royal stories, you have all sorts of so-called experts coming out of the woodwork talking about it. I think going forward, let her have some peace, let her have some privacy, let the family have some privacy, so she can recuperate.
The palace shouldn't be providing a running commentary.
No, absolutely not. And we never did. When the late Queen was unwell, or Prince Philip, we always say we're not going to provide a day-to-day commentary on their condition.
just tell us, because you work with them obviously at very close quarters, what's the Princess of Wales actually like? Somebody commented earlier, that's the first time I've really seen her speak at length. I mean, obviously, people don't cover the everyday jobs that I see. I've seen her speak at lecterns and I've seen her interact with people on jobs. She's always struck me to be exactly as she seems, frankly, on screen. She's very poised. But what's she like one-to-one?
She's very poised. She's very genuine. I've met her on numerous occasions. Warm, chatty, kind. I suppose you'd expect me to say that anyway, but genuinely.
No, I think I haven't really heard that many people ever say a bad word about her, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, she came around to our press office when I think she was just pregnant with Prince George, and she chatted to all the members of the team. She had a genuine interest. And that wasn't a public engagement. That was just chatting to staff members at Buckingham Palace. Yeah. So she didn't have to put on an act. No. She just came in and chatted to us. That's really kind. And also to say thank you to members of staff who support her in her work.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think she's been renowned, hasn't she, within the household for being pretty down to earth, being good with staff. Yeah. We can tell they've had members of their own private household, their housekeeper, their nanny, that they've had for years and years and years,
Absolutely.
Which was always a sign. We used to say that about Prince Philip, who had the same members of staff literally for half a century.
I know, absolutely. Some of them were older than him.
Well, I'm not sure if they, maybe a couple of them were. When it comes to how the royals cope with this, you will have heard, I think, Sir Anthony Selden in the studio earlier saying this isn't a crisis for the monarchy. Do you agree with that?
I absolutely, totally agree with that. It's not a crisis. Yeah, a crisis is an abdication.
Yes.
A crisis is not knowing the line of succession. This is a bump in the road. This is not a major earthquake, in my opinion. You've got two senior members of the royal family who are ill, who are being treated for cancer. But hopefully this is a blip, and going forward they will recuperate and carry on doing the amazing work that they do.
I mean, it has been remarkable that Prince William still has been carrying out the engagements, knowing what's been going on.
Yeah.
Let's also have a word about Queen Camilla, because she's 76 years old. I mean, obviously, before marrying into the royal family, she's an ordinary mother and housewife living a fairly quiet life. She gets thrust into the limelight well beyond retirement age. I think she's played a bit of a blinder, to be honest. I mean, it seems as if she's now, who would have thought it, 20 years ago, holding the fort.
I know. And also, the media coverage about her has been extraordinary. Again, going back 20, 30 years ago, she was, it was vitriolic. Now she can't put a foot wrong, which is amazing. And we saw her in Northern Ireland last week carrying out engagements. She's incredibly popular, and I haven't seen a bad word written about her.
I know, it's extraordinary. Having said that, does it look like there are too few royals to go around at the moment? Has it been slimmed down too much? Should we, Ailsa, brace yourself, create roles in working royal life for the likes of Princess Beatrice and Eugenie, maybe even say to Zara and Mike Tyndall, look, you're popular in the royal family, come and work for the firm.
Yeah, they are very popular. I think the balance is right at the moment. I think, obviously, we have two members of the royal family out of action, but they will come back into the fold again. The King is still carrying out certain engagements. I mean, he's having his weekly audience with the Prime Minister. We've seen him meet Commonwealth people. So he is still undertaking some engagements. I'm sure he's still doing his red boxes. And the Princess of Wales will come back. What I would like to say about her again is just, I think the wonderful thing is the support of her family, not only her husband,
the Middletons,
but the Middletons,
as well as
and
the
reading James Middleton's tweet.
Yes, we have a mountain to climb together. It was a lovely sentiment.
How amazing is that?
Really lovely. Ailsa, lovely to speak to you this morning, albeit under sad circumstances. We, of course, wish the Princess all the very best.